Mummies from the golden age of the pharaohs, shrunken heads from the jungles of South America, the bloody weapons of primitive tribal warriors. These grim relics are usually found in great museums or in the home of Billy Jamieson.
I'm a treasure hunter. That's the only way to describe this. Treasure comes in all different sizes and shapes. I have a fascination with shrunken heads, mummies, weapons, shields. I love things that touch history.
Billy lives and works in his one-of-a-kind gallery, a 3-story cabinet of curiosities that's home to his amazing collection.
I used to say there's things I would not sell, but there is a price for everything I've learned.
Got another one for you.
Helping run his bizarre business is his fiancée, Jessica Phillips.
Okay, yeah, because we have a potential buyer for it.
She really loves the business. She's learning it. Some stuff she knows more than me.
I think it's bug damage.
It's hectic, it's crazy, but I wouldn't trade it.
Okay, well, I'll send it over to you.
And I'm just happy to be part of life with Billy.
And in the wild world of tribal art, Billy's one of the best. But to feed his business and his obsession,
That sounds wild.
he's always on the lookout for the next big score.
Did you collect them yourself in Africa?
If you're not quick on it, if you don't react quickly to it, it could be gone, just like that.
Today, he may have struck gold. A dealer in Paris wants to sell a real Egyptian mummy.
Mummies are very rare. They don't come on the market very often.
This mummy was wealthy enough to be properly wrapped and mummified. An ancient mummy for private sale is a 1 in a million opportunity, and in museum condition is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Bonjour.
Billy is always in the market for a mummy.
What kind of money are we talking? You're gonna make me an offer I can't refuse.
And he's got good reason to be excited. Mummies jump-started his career as a globe-trotting treasure trader.
Can I help you?
In 1999, Billy bought the Niagara Falls Museum, the oldest museum in Canada. Among its oddities and curiosities were 9 Egyptian mummies. And one of them turned out to be the long-lost mummy of the pharaoh Ramses I.
It was really amazing to find out that there was a pharaoh in the collection.
Billy sold Ramses and the other mummies to a museum for over $2 million.
This was the first thing I'd ever sold, and this launched my career as a dealer.
Now, he's hoping that lightning will strike twice. He wants to flip this mummy for another big profit.
For museums, mummies sell tickets because people love to go see mummies. Where's the mummies? Where's the dinosaurs? You know, kids and families. So I think that we're gonna have to act on this fast.
The dealer is asking for over $130,000. But before Billy can make a serious offer, he needs some expert advice.
What do you got?
Here, have a look here.
And when it comes to ancient Egypt, he goes to Gail Gibson,
Oh, here we go.
an Egyptologist at Toronto's Royal Ontario Museum.
Bill is really interested in this stuff. He loves these mummies. He's interested in who they were. When he gets a mummy, he wants it to be carefully well studied.
What can you tell me?
This is a Roman period, and you can tell that from the way the wrapping is all interlaced.
What year would
Romans
that
like
be?
doing that. Yeah, 2,000 years, maybe something like that. So,
Okay, he's right in there with Jesus.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly where he is. A lot of mummies were taken out of Egypt 150 years ago as souvenirs, and eventually a lot of those mummies ended up in the attic, in the basement. Many of them got buried. People would decide, well, it's time to bury old King What's-His-Face. So there are not a lot of intact mummies around. He is almost entirely wrapped.
Yeah.
This all looks like the original wrapping. It's all nice and neat, and this looks pretty good too. This looks original. Definitely there's been some rewrapping on the face.
What do you think? Do you think this is a mummy that's just too far gone, or is it something worth
no.
pursuing? No?
No, I think he's really worth pursuing.
Gail studied it her whole life, and when she told me that this was a good mummy, I felt, let's go for it. Hey, how you doing, honey?
Good, how are you?
Just had a great meeting with Gail Gibson at the Royal Ontario Museum, and she really likes the mummy.
That's great.
I want to go to Paris tomorrow, and I wondered
Wow.
if, yeah, can you see what flights are available? And we're just gonna go there really fast and come back. I know.
I'll book flights, but
Okay, honey.
no problem.
We're going to Paris.
I love it.
I love you.
Treasure trader Billy Jamieson is on the hunt for an Egyptian mummy.
You're gonna make me an offer I can't refuse.
And now that an expert has confirmed that it's a rare relic,
I think he's really worth pursuing.
Billy is ready to make a deal.
We're going to Paris.
Honey, do you want your cowboy skull shirt?
Yes, honey. Can you pack it, please?
Yeah.
I'd be totally lost without Jessica.
Well, I gotta pick out the ties that you want to bring, or just you want me.
I'm really good at finding shit. I'm just not real good at other stuff.
Which suit do you want? What about this one?
That's cool for going out. Honey, the cat thinks he's going with us.
So what do you know about the mummy?
It appears to be still wrapped.
Oh, really?
They told me it was not unwrapped, but I'm questioning that. They may want way too much money for it, but it is what you expect a mummy to look like. But what they think is a deal and what I think of a deal could be two different things.
Perfect. I love Paris. You say fini?
Paris is an important market for ancient and modern art, and familiar territory for Billy and Jessica. With a few hours to kill before meeting the mummy dealer, they're off to visit the studio of their longtime friend, the painter, Hervé de Rosa.
Hervé says I am going to do a painting of you and Jessica in my style.
Born in 1959, Hervé has been an important part of the French art scene for 30 years. His cartoon-inspired work hangs in the world's most prestigious galleries and are worth a fortune.
And he said the painting's in process, and he was kind enough to invite us over to see it. Too bad he's not here, but his son Vincent's going to take us through it.
Hi, Vincent.
Hey, Vincent.
How are you?
Fine.
Good to see you, man.
So, as I
I
said,
can't wait to see this thing.
I'm excited to see how we've been de-roasted.
and there it is.
Oh, legs, I love it.
Jessica, you put a few pounds on, but that's Hervé's style. Look at the shrunken heads. What am I sitting in? I'm sitting in a chair. Oh, you're giving me a dance. That's what's going on. This is like pretty hot.
Because the picture you always send us for the New Year's, it's always you sitting on a chair with Jessica.
Vincent is going to take pictures of Jessica's tattoos for Hervé to add to his painting. It's just so neat to have something in a Hervé de Rosa's style. It's really cool. I just think it's great.
It just puts a huge, bright red smile on my face.
It's time to get back to treasure hunting and Billy's first look at his 2,000-year-old mummy.
Okay, honey, mummy time.
This could be a major score. If it's in good shape, Billy has clients willing to pay big bucks to add it to their collections.
Billy's excited. He's always has that spark, almost like a kid before Christmas vibe.
Okay, gentlemen, how are you?
Fine, hello, Bill.
The mummy's owner has sent his dealer and an Egyptologist to convince Billy that the artifact is worth 6 figures.
Do we know if it's a male or a female?
It's a male, around 40.
The mummy's origins are unknown, but there are clues about who he might have been. X-rays reveal that his arms were positioned by his sides,
Right hand on the left.
a clear sign of his status.
If the hands aren't down at the side, it's more of a common burial. He was not a wealthy man by any means.
No.
If the arms were crossed, it could be a pharaoh or a high priest. It's somehow more important, which equals more money.
But despite his common origins, if the mummy is in good condition, he's still worth a lot of money.
The thing that makes this mummy special, you know, it's the skeleton is intact. All the bones are connected.
You want a mummy that is solid when you pick it up, and the bones are solid throughout the mummy. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah?
The skeleton does appear intact, but a closer look reveals big problems.
How much of the mummy do you think has been unwrapped?
It's difficult to say that.
I was told this mummy was totally wrapped.
The corpse wasn't unwrapped.
Of the bandage is original.
The face is quite the mess. Looks like a bad bandage job. You can feel the bones are right there. Yeah. I didn't expect to see a big gouge out of the side of the mummy, where bones starting to show. I thought maybe the head was just unwrapped. It looks like the chest is partially unwrapped. And being very honest, okay?
Yes.
We both know what we have here is not a fine piece of art. You know that? I like the mummy, but they're asking over $100,000 for this mummy. I can't buy it and make any money at that. I am gonna make them an offer at about 25% of what they're asking. They may not accept it, and I'm gonna go home empty-handed. That's what's on the line here. Mummy time.
Tribal art dealer Billy Jamieson
How are you?
is in Paris to buy a $100,000 mummy.
Oh, yeah, I see. I really want it, but their price is too high. I'm gonna be offering 1/4 of what they're asking.
It's time for Billy to make a deal. The mummy's secretive owner wants her camera to stay outside, so we've placed a hidden camera in Billy's briefcase.
A mummy, it's a difficult thing to find a home for. It's not like a piece of fine art. Most people's wives won't let them have them in the house. What's a mummy worth? I mean, you try and be fair at these things, and you have to say, look, I don't want to insult you, but this is what it's worth. I can't get near 100,000 for a mummy like that. I'm gonna make an offer, just based on what I'm seeing. Don't be insulted. You're not gonna be insulted? If I went 25,000 euros, it's close to about 38,000. Are you upset? No. He's not happy with it. Obviously, my low offer hit a nerve with him, and he was so offended he left the table. I didn't expect that to happen. I may have blown this deal. I gotta admit, I hate not getting something when I'm chasing it. He may have walked away from the table, but we're not finished with this. We're still gonna come back and try and work this deal out.
Billy calls the dealer back. He wants another meeting.
And, I mean, I don't give up easy.
But as he waits to learn the fate of the deal, he heads off to explore the markets of Paris with his friend and fellow collector, Michel Gransard.
You can have that one, Michel. Michel Gransard is a very good friend.
You can try.
We seem to have similar tastes in material.
Bill.
We tend to both be attracted to macabre pieces. What's the best price on the wooden head? 600. Is it okay to touch? Okay. Oh my God.
Billy never knows what he'll find.
It's a rat's fetus. Don't have one of those.
But human heads are the real prize.
It's not a real skull, right?
It's not a real skull.
Michelle probably has the biggest collection of heads in the world. Michelle and I are very good friends, but we're also competitive.
The guy in front got a real Givaro head, I think.
Where? Don't tell him that. Look at him go. Look at him trying to get there. Okay?
Huh?
Yeah, we'll go look. You're always trying to walk in before me. Hello.
How do you do?
Hey, it's a pleasure. Bill Jamieson.
Fine, thanks.
So you have a shrunken head?
Billy has spent years scouring the Parisian markets, but this is the first time an authentic shrunken head has turned up.
It's a real shrunken head, but someone put string in there. It's not a jungle fiber, so I would take those out.
Shrunken heads were made by only one Indian culture, the Shuar of the Ecuadorian Amazon. Taking the head of an enemy warrior and shrinking it has long been abandoned. But these relics are worth tens of thousands of dollars today.
Mr. Grimm?
Yes?
Is it okay to see the head?
Yes?
Billy's fascination with these macabre collectibles began on his first trip to South America 20 years ago. Bored with his life as a building contractor, Billy traded in his hammer for a machete and headed for the jungles of Ecuador and Peru.
One of these trips, I met a Shuar named Tucupi. He was a shaman and a warrior. Had killed 22 people.
The ritual of shrinking heads was outlawed in the 20th century, but hundreds of well-preserved relics remain an important part of their fierce history.
So after spending time with Tucupi, I came home and I thought, wow, it'd be great to have a shrunken head as a mascot. Once I'd bought 2 shrunken heads, I was fucked.
Billy is one of the world's leading experts of shrunken heads, And right now, he's hoping to add another jewel to his amazing collection.
What's the price?
18,000.
Would you consider 10,000 euros?
No, I can't.
What's the best?
16.
I could go as high as 12.
15,000. It's okay.
The most I could go, this is lasting, 13,000 euros.
Finally, the dealer accepts his offer.
Okay,
One of
see
us.
you later, but see you sure.
Okay.
But Billy's got competition for this treasure.
I've never been with Michelle and actually seen something we wanted exactly at the same time. So we've made a decision that me and Michelle are gonna flip a coin, and the person that gets heads gets the fucking head. You want heads?
Yeah.
You want heads? Heads for the head.
Heads is the head. Okay. Well, how do you...
Yeah! Oh, you knocked it. It wasn't heads.
Yeah, it was heads.
It wasn't heads, Michelle.
Well-
It was that size. Oh, I won. That's not heads?
No.
Yes! You're just fucking with me, right? No, I won. You always fuck me up when we do these things. What is that all about?
No, it was head, but I thought, I mean...
Oh, give me a break!
Billy scored another shrunken head, but he hasn't forgotten the reason he and Jessica came to Paris. With just a few hours to go before their flight home, they get a call from the mummy dealer.
Hello? Oui, maman. Do you want me to...
You can talk to him.
Billy's lowball bluff is working. It looks like the mummy's owner might budge on the price.
Dans 10, 20...
Right now. We're leaving right now in a taxi.
We're on our way. Yes.
Off at mummy hunting we
Thank
go.
you.
Can I hang off my wallet, honey?
No problem. That's what purses are for.
What would I do without you? Sunglasses. Car's here? Thank you.
Billy knows this is his last shot at the mummy.
Bonjour. This is going to be private and behind closed doors, and I'm just hoping that I can still buy the mummy.
If he can't make a deal now, he'll leave Paris without it. Billy Jamieson is getting a second chance to buy a rare Egyptian mummy.
Are you upset? He's not happy with it.
His first offer was rejected.
I give it 50-50 we're still going to end up buying this mummy.
Now the owner has agreed to a second meeting. Once again, a hidden camera captures the action.
So this mummy, I told you, is 42, and I will take care of everything.
37, best I can do.
I can't believe it.
Come on, 37. I'm serious. I have to walk. I can't take it.
I can't.
I have a lot at stake. It's not like I've got piles of money in the bank. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Why are you so poor?
I'm trying to make this work.
42,000, what you can do for 42,000? Maybe you can buy 1 or 2 packets of cigarettes.
One last try.
Okay.
Finally, this deal is done.
This was one of the toughest negotiations I've ever had to buy anything.
Yeah, well, finally.
Finally, eh?
Finally, we got it.
It looks like we're doing business now.
Billy's talked the dealer down to 35,000 euros, or $46,000, a third of the original price.
I think what I paid is a fair price. When I decide to sell them, I know I can double my money on that. We finally did this deal, and I'm taking the mummy home. Mummies are us.
Now there's one more detail to go.
You have a big place here, right?
Making sure that Billy's newest treasure is carefully packed for the long trip home.
Have you ever packed a mummy before?
No, for me personally, this is my first mummy.
It's been a busy but productive trip.
I'm exhausted. This fucking business, sometimes it wears you down, but it's a lot of fun.
Billy's Egyptian mummy is worth double what he paid for it, and finding a rare shrunken head is a real bonus.
It's the collector disease. There's no cure for it, and I suffer from that disease, but I have to sell stuff to continue to collect. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. You do love New York,
Of course
eh?
I do. It's beautiful.
Billy Jamieson and his fiancée Jessica are off to New York for one of his biggest deals ever.
Hey, how are you?
He's planning to auction off rare Egyptian artifacts valued at over $1 million.
I've never had a collection like this where I bought this many pieces.
A few months ago, Billy stuck his neck out and borrowed a ton of money to buy a collection of 400 Egyptian artifacts.
A collection of this size is so rare. To find it today intact, well, it doesn't happen that often.
The collection was assembled by a 19th century archaeologist. The pieces are over 2,000 years old, and many of them are worth tens of thousands of dollars each.
The fact that it was collected by Gustave Jacquier, I think, will make it very desirable.
Billy's picked out over 30 of the best pieces to sell at Christie's, one of the world's leading auction houses, and he's looking for a big profit.
I really need to do well on this Egyptian collection. I am a little nervous going in there, you know? I borrowed money to buy it. I gotta pay it back. Hope you bring me luck.
Don't I always?
Yeah, you do.
The auction is just 24 hours away. And while they're in New York, they want to close 2 other big deals.
The first thing Jessica does when we check in anywhere is get the computer going.
Working with Billy on the road, it's an even crazier adventure.
Are you coming to see the preview at
You know,
Christie's?
I would love to, but I've got a lot to do. I have to coordinate our meetings with
Well, you'll see it at the auction.
Exactly.
I hope that they promoted it properly and that I really have to let go and trust, something I have a hard time with.
You're a little nervous, huh?
I wasn't too impressed with the fact they should have run the ad last month and not this month. I don't want to get overworked, but I hope that's not a bad sign.
I'm getting dizzy watching you pace. I'm better at handling stress than Billy. My job on the road is keeping him calm, because if he's calm, then that makes my job that much easier.
I'll call you from there, okay?
Yeah, keep me posted.
I will.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
While Jessica tends to business, Billy heads to Christie's to check on his prized collection.
I really wanted to see what it looked like, because I know what it looked like all over the dining table and crates in my home.
For the past month, they've been on display to give buyers a bird's-eye view of these ancient and expensive artifacts.
It's important that it looks good for the buyer to see it visually, how it's going to look in their museum or collection.
Up for auction is a dazzling array of pottery, sculpture, and carvings. But the star of the show is the massive quartzite head of Nectanebo II, the last Egyptian-born pharaoh. 40 centimeters tall and weighing in at 36 kilograms, it could sell for $1 million.
There are only a couple of known statues of this pharaoh known to exist in museums around the world.
And Billy's banking on 2,000-year-old Nectanebo to deliver a king's ransom.
It's a very impressive piece, and it is the most important piece we are selling at Christie's.
Hey, babe, how's it going?
The collection looks amazing. The Nectanebo head looks so impressive.
Oh, that's great.
Did you get a hold of Joe and Carlo?
I've set everything up with Carlo, so we're good to go. The drums arrived, and he hasn't unpacked it yet, so you guys can do that together.
Thanks a lot, honey. I love you, and I'll see you in a little bit, okay?
Okay, see you. Bye.
New York is a hotbed for tribal art, and while he's in town, Billy wants to close another important deal.
We're on our way to Pace Gallery to see a friend of mine, Carlo Bello, one of New York's top tribal art dealers. We have a great African drum that I've purchased, and it's been shipped here in a crate. I purchased this from a photo. I haven't seen it personally, and either has Carlo.
How are you? Great. Great to see you.
It's always a pleasure to see you.
Billy's known Carlo for years, but this is their first deal as a team.
The first time I saw Billy, I thought only in America, and this dude's gotta be a rock star.
Billy paid $60,000 for this rare African drum. Carlo's job is to find a big money buyer.
We're going today to unwrap it together and have a look at it and see if there's anything you can do to help me sell this. I'm following you.
And here it is.
Look, it's a big crate. I had no idea it was this big.
The moment of truth.
Let's open it up. I'm excited to see it in person, and I'm hoping Carlo sees it and says, I can do something with this.
Super. It's a beautiful piece.
Actually, it's got a great look when you look straight on at it, eh?
I like it even more in real life than in a photograph.
The pictures,
The piece is very rare. Only a few were made. Only 4 or 5 comparable pieces have come up on the market in the last 15 years.
It's called a timba and was made in the 1900s in the West African nation of Guinea. Timbas are huge and were used in only the most important tribal ceremonies.
It took a dignitary standing on a stool to be able to play this drum.
And I noticed the horse.
Suddenly, their excitement turned sour. Billy's found a large crack on the drum.
The cracking? I'm seeing that crack and I'm going, oh my God, we might have a problem here.
Billy Jamieson's $60,000 African drum deal with Carlo Bella
And here it
is in trouble.
The cracking?
He's just spotted some damage that could reduce its value.
This could cost me a lot of money.
The cracking goes with age.
It's AJ, that's not recent.
As you know, wood shrinks with age after it's cut and is unavoidable. It's proof of age, proof that it's been out of Africa a long time in a way.
Once Carlo pointed out it was an age crack, I felt a lot better. It's great. I just had no idea the size.
You know, this is the average scale, actually a nice scale for pieces from Africa. Look at this. I mean, this is a monumental piece. In a way, it's the size that make the price for this object.
What would be your next move on it now?
I'll ask, 100, take 90, run. We split 60-40. 60% for us, 40% to you.
Not 60-40, the other way. Okay, deal.
It's the best Billy can do.
60-40 is not something that I want to do every day.
Now, if Carlo sells the drum, Billy still makes a profit.
This first deal with Carlo went great, and I am sure it's going to lead to bigger and better deals.
He's a unique personality. He's incredible talent. And on top of that, he delivers.
With the potential of a few extra thousand in his pocket from the drum deal,
We're finally going to this exhibit, huh?
Billy and Jessica are off to buy a very modern painting from famous New York artist Joe Coleman.
After you, darling.
Thank you.
Joe and I have been talking about doing a deal on a painting for some time now. I am hoping that I'm going to see a painting with my name on it.
Coleman's incredibly intricate portraits, painted with a single-haired brush, have made him one of today's most collectible artists, and his work sells for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Look at the detail.
Again.
His paintings, there's lineups. I mean, you've got to wait for his paintings. They're very hard to come by because it takes him so long to paint them.
I love the colors that he uses.
Coleman's dazzling portraits of misfits and forgotten characters in history are owned by celebrity collectors like Leonardo DiCaprio and Johnny Depp.
He's an amazing painter. He paints the portrait and then he tells their life story behind them. I've been talking about having a painting of Joe's for about 8 or 10 years now. He's basically said to pick one out I like. He had suggested this one to me. He's kind of looking at this is from the history of the gigs in show business and carnivals and sideshows. And I like it, but I want to check out the one he's got at home, too. Mm-hmm. When I met him, I think his paintings were, $10,000, $15,000. Now they're 10 times that.
Billy can't afford 6 figures. He wants to meet Joe and try to make a deal.
Hey!
Hello, Joe.
Hey, Jessica.
How are you? Whitney.
Yes, man.
Yeah,
it's
hey.
so good.
Hey, welcome.
Joe and Whitney's place is amazing. It's basically set up like an old carnival dime museum, right down to the old wallpaper. This is so cool. We both like objects that have interesting historical stories with them. Every time I come here, it's just more and more.
Well, this is one of my paintings.
Yeah, we both like the macabre. I collect objects with history. Joe paints them. Well, there's the Gorsi.
Yeah, there's Leo.
Out of all his paintings, I chose one of Leo Gorsi.
Leo Gorsi was a famous member of Hollywood's Dead End Kids and the Bowery Boys.
I grew up as a kid watching these, and it was really funny, witty humor.
He acted with Bela Lugosi, Cagney, and Humphrey Bogart. The film that he did with Lugosi had the first time that the word shit was actually said in a movie.
Billy's ready to deal. He's offering 50% in cash, plus a trade from his own collection, a shrunken head.
I believe the painting's worth $100 grand. I should have got one 15 years ago.
Yeah, it would have been easier.
Would have been cheaper, too. Whitney and Joe like shrunken heads.
Look at this
Oh
beauty.
my God.
Yeah.
It was just my birthday.
Any shrunken head that I would offer them, they'd gladly take to add to their collection.
15 years, one shrunken head, and $50,000 later, Billy's finally got his Joe Coleman. Now, it's back to bigger business. Billy heads back to Christie's. He's meeting their antiquities expert and the auctioneer to find out how much buzz there's been about the sale of his collection.
We've got a lot of phone bids lined up, so when you get that, that usually means people are seriously interested. The market for Egyptian artifacts is extremely hot right now. There's not a huge supply, and there is a huge demand, so the timing of this collection coming to auction is perfect.
Is there interest in the head right now?
Yes.
Definitely.
So you think it's going to sell?
It'll definitely sell.
If the head does well, I cover my costs, and the rest of the collection is profit.
We've seen things sell for 10, 15 times their estimates.
I'd love to see this head sell for over $500,000. Or, who knows, maybe it goes for $1 million.
There's no way to know how high it could go.
We are both hoping for everything to sell great. I want to thank you very much.
It's our pleasure, Tobin.
Thank you. No, I can't kiss you.
No, but you can give me a hug.
They did a great job of assuring me everything was going to be good at the auction. But I'm still nervous because I know anything can happen at auction.
You're not even sleeping yet.
I know, I'm just looking through the catalog at some of the estimates, reviewing some of the prices for tomorrow. I've got a lot riding on this tomorrow, and I don't have any control over it, and I'm used to selling things on my own. I had that dream that nobody showed up at the auction, and you just never know. And I owe a lot of money, and I got to pay the money back, and so I've got to hope that that head does really well. All I can do is just cross my fingers everything sells really well.
We'll just have to see what happens.
All Billy does know is that he's not getting much sleep tonight. Billy Jamieson is in New York for one of the biggest deals of his career.
The stakes are high. I have to do well on this.
He's borrowed over $500,000 to buy a collection of Egyptian artifacts.
And if I don't get the money back, I'm screwed.
After a sleepless night at the hotel, it's time for the big sale. If the auction at Christie's goes well, he could make a profit of over $1 million. But if it goes bad, Billy could take a huge financial hit in just minutes.
10 o'clock it starts. By 10:35, 10:40, it's over. I'll know where I stand. I'll walk out having done really well, or I'll walk out very disappointed.
As buyers assemble in the gallery and more line up on the phones, Billy's almost too nervous to watch the show.
I'm shaking a little bit, you know? Plus you have no idea what my stomach's doing too, right?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Christie's, to today's sale of antiquities. I can begin with lot 1. The Egyptian breccia jar, the first of the lots from the Gustave Jacquier collection.
Just 16.5 centimeters wide, this simple jar is over 5,000 years old. Made of breccia, or cemented stone, it's valued at $18,000.
And I can begin now at $9,000 to begin, $12,000, $13,000, $14,000. $17,000 new bidder, $18,000. $22,000 back to Christine. Bids here, fair warning, and selling.
What do you think?
The first one kind of went okay.
Limestone offering table
It happens very fast.
at $9,000, $9,500, $10,000, still mine.
It's like a minute a lot,
Fair warning for $40,000,
and the hammer comes down,
for $40,000.
and it's over.
The painted pottery jar, the bronze pectoral, the papyrus fragment,
The auction was going great.
$5,500,
Everything was selling well.
$7,500 for this.
As we approached the head, I was wondering how it would do.
The colossal quartzite head of the pharaoh Nectanebo II.
Finally, the star of the show takes center stage, and the bidding takes off like a rocket.
Will open here at $130,000. At $130,000, $140,000, $150,000.
This is great.
$170,000, $180,000,
Look at this thing go, eh?
$190,000, at 190,000.
Suddenly, the bidding stalls.
And we're not even at a fifth of what I'm expecting for this head. And I'm going, oh my God.
Any more at 190,000?
Would it sell for this inexpensively? Why did I even put it in auction to begin with?
Then there's a new bid.
220,000 new bidder.
That was getting scary.
240,000. 260,000.
Keep going. Keep going.
270,000. Would you like 280? 280 is next. 290,000. No? Try 3?
And all of a sudden, it stops. It doesn't even make 300,000.
We're selling at 290, if no more, at 290,000. Fair warning. Last chance in the back. It's selling for 290.
It's not enough. Nectanebo is a flop.
I am so shocked.
It just sold for $500,000 less than what he'd hoped for.
Can't believe it sold this low.
And now, Billy's got a big problem. He's close to losing hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I had all my hopes pinned on this Nectanebo head, and I'm in big trouble right now.
The star of Billy Jamieson's Egyptian auction,
200,000 is bid.
the head of Pharaoh Nectanebo, has just sold for $500,000 less than he was banking on.
It's selling for 290.
And his hopes of a big profit are crumbling fast.
I had hoped this head might pay for this entire collection, and it didn't. It didn't even come close.
Good cartonnage panel.
There are still 20 items left for bid. How they sell will determine if Billy's in trouble.
For 24,000 with carats.
I've got to really, really hope the next piece is selling. Take me out of the hole I'm in right now.
For this limestone snake you see there. And I'll start here at 6,000. My bidder at 6, 6,500, 7,000 I have. At 7,500, 8,000 it's here. At 8,000, 8,500, 9,000. Still mine at 9, 9,500, 10. At 11,000 against you all, 12,000, 13,000. Still ahead of you here.
That little limestone snake, I expected to sell for $15,000 to $20,000.
19 centimeters in diameter and valued at just $12,000. This 4,000-year-old limestone snake was sculpted in intricate detail.
26, 28,000, 35,000 new bidder, 40,000,
This is amazing.
50,000, 55,000,
This could go for a while.
60,000, 70,000, 90,000,
This is a sleeper.
100,000, 120,000.
The snake's price is skyrocketing. It's now 10 times its opening bid.
160,000,
Oh my God.
180,000, 200,000,
Wow.
250,000, 280,000. At 280,000, we're selling now. Fair warning, last chance max.
I can't believe it. That little snake saved my ass, and you know there's no rhyme or reason. But I'm happy.
Egyptian bronzes.
And the auction still isn't over by a long shot.
It's selling.
The remaining pieces also sell for a lot more than expected.
150,000, 220,000, 42,000. We're all through and selling.
And when the final hammer drops, Billy's collection sells for over $1.2 million. That's at least $500,000 in pure profit.
It worked out good.
When you put a lot of hard work in.
This is like totally a stress ride. One minute you're up and you're down and you're up. It's like a poker game. An auction like this is a huge rush, but it's over. And I have to go on looking for the next thing. I love what I do, and there's no way I can ever stop.
Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Tribal art dealer Billy Jamieson and his fiancée Jessica are in Paris to pick up a human shrunken head. The Shuar are the only tribal culture to perform the ritual of shrinking heads. The practice was abandoned in the 20th century, and these macabre relics are now worth thousands.
I paid about 14,000 euros for it, about 22,000 Canadian dollars. So we're gonna pick it up today.
Billy is one of the biggest dealers of shrunken heads in the world, and so far, he's collected almost 40 of them.
I collect artifacts from all over the world. The one thing people remember me for is shrunken heads.
Billy bought this one over the phone. It was a big gamble.
Anytime you buy things over the telephone, there's a certain risk. It's a bit of a poker game, and risks are part of the business.
If it's in good condition, Billy has clients who are ready to pay big money for it. But right now, he's crossing his fingers that he hasn't been burned.
When you go to pick up a piece that you've bought, you're hoping that you haven't made a mistake and that your instincts are right. I can see it from here.
Yes,
Here.
follow me, I'll show you.
So you gotta be really careful. Sometimes you get a little excited and jump the gun and you go, oh shit, I fucked up on this one. There's a little bit of damage on the nose. You can see a couple of holes that were eaten into it. A little bit of bug damage and a little bit on the chin and just there, but there's some, you know, just some dead eggs and stuff on it. And the string here, one of the strands is broken. But it's nothing, this is a great head. In my book, it's a 9 because it's an authentic head. These are getting harder to find.
Yes, it's actually a really, really nice piece.
Great hair.
You know what I always tell people, how you tell a real shrunken head from a fake is look for nose hairs.
Billy knows what he's talking about. He's lived with the headhunters, and the Schwar taught him the secrets of shrinking a human head.
They take the head and they cut it from the back of the head up to the crown, to the top, and then they peel the skin off the skull. What they would do then is tie it by the string and hold it over the smoke of a fire. That would actually mummify the head. The Shuar tribe believed the soul was in the head. So by shrinking the head to this size, they sewed the eyes and lips and the back of the head shut, and it would trap a soul. Thanks again. It was very kind of you.
Have a
okay?
fantastic day.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye.
I was very pleased with the head. In this business, I have experts, academics, other dealers that I consult with, and collectors, but sometimes I have to trust my instincts. Anybody here? Hello?
Hi! Oh, look at you! Look at you!
Billy and Jessica are back home in Toronto, and are met by a mountain of mail and an intriguing new lead.
You have 3 saved wireless voice messages.
I used to travel around when I first started collecting, looking for material. And now these things find me.
Hey, Bill. It's Gordon Smith. I have a favor to ask.
Gordon Smith is one of Hollywood's most successful special effects designers, and he's got a special request.
I am retiring here, and I have a studio absolutely full of 30 years of film career. If you're willing, I would love for you to have a look and give me your opinion of it. Thanks a lot, Bill.
The collection could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, but Billy's got a problem.
I know nothing about movie memorabilia, but I'm interested and I'm gonna go see Gordon.
While Jessica contacts Gordon to set up a meeting, Billy and his assistant, Mike, unpack a shipment of relics from New Guinea.
So this just came in.
Once again, Billy has rolled the dice.
How many shields did I buy? Is it 3 or 4?
Sight unseen, he spent thousands to buy some unusual tribal artifacts. New Guinea war shields were designed to scare an enemy in battle and are highly valued artifacts. In the 1940s, comic book figures began appearing on them, making them even more valuable.
He's got a spear in one hand and a gun in the other. That's pretty wacky, eh? During World War II in the South Pacific, standard reading material for American GIs were comic books. Among these comic books were the Phantom comics. The natives were told the Phantom was a superhero and he would protect you. The natives turned around and started painting the Phantom on their shields to help protect them in battle. This one looks pretty fresh. What does this one say? Phantom, man, no die. In other words, he was invincible.
Billy is hoping to find a shield from the 1960s or earlier and used in battle. Problem is, a lot of replica shields were made in the 80s and 90s to sell to tourists, and these shields have got Billy worried.
These shields are not real old, like they're not dating back to the 40s and 50s
Right.
and 60s. These are probably from the 80s. It's too bad.
With just one more shield to unwrap, Billy still hasn't found one of real value.
The first 3 shields, I was not that impressed with. They were a little too contemporary. I would pay more money for one good old shield.
Billy Jamieson has just received a shipment of old New Guinea war shields, but so far, they're not that old.
I can see it getting harder and harder to find the old ones because they're all gone. Last one.
With just one more to unpack, Billy still hasn't hit the jackpot.
We opened the box and there was this great shield with a license plate. It's just nicely done. It's got a lot of age. Oh my God, this makes it worthwhile.
What's with the license plate?
They thought the license plate on the front of a vehicle would be there to protect it.
So how's this one different from the others?
Look at this is all beat up. And look at, they've got pieces of metal here. It started to break and they've tried to keep it together.
Like stitching.
And that's what you want to see in a shield. This is one that would sell for much more than the other ones. It tells an interesting story. Whoever buys this shield is going to have to tell that story a lot of times. It's kind of like where shields are us today. Yeah.
But who to sell it to, we'll have to wait. Billy and Jessica have a date with special effects designer Gordon Smith at his studio that's full of Hollywood memorabilia.
Hey, Billy. How are you
doing, man? Great
Thanks
to
for
see
coming.
you.
Gordon's worked on movie blockbusters that have made billions at the box office.
You were on the set of 4th of July, Platoon, Jacob's Ladder, JFK. My God, the stories you can probably tell.
Now that he's ready to retire, Gordon wants to sell his amazing collection. Movie memorabilia is always hot property. As pop culture collectibles, Gordon's work could be worth a fortune.
You didn't have any idea this had any monetary value at all?
No. In all honesty, I have no idea whether it has a value of any kind. And that's why I need to talk to somebody like Bill. And you're the only person I know who deals with just weird shit.
Well, it's nice to know. What's that from?
These have been in Platoon, they've been in Salvador, they've been in Born the 4th of July.
Uncredited extras.
Yeah.
Those are Sabretooth's hands.
You recognize
them.
Yeah,
Those are his
and those are
gloves.
his eyebrows.
That's his prosthetic.
Yeah.
He wore.
I have to admit, I got really excited when I found out Gord had worked on X-Men.
And bringing the X-Men to life on the silver screen was the biggest job of Gordon's career.
These are the Wolverine's claws.
Maybe for Halloween.
Maybe. Maybe yes.
If you survive.
I have no idea what this stuff is worth. But when Jessica started getting jazzed about the X-Men thing, I mean, you know, I realized how important and valuable this material is.
Think about 3 times.
Gordon's crowning achievement was the birthday suit he designed for the character Mystique.
Here she is in here.
Oh
this
my
is
gosh.
just.
The detail.
So the actress would have been painted blue.
No.
No?
No. The process is you put the prosthetic. This is one of those prosthetics. This is your back.
Oh, back.
This is this piece that goes on the back here, right? We just put that on her back and then stretched it into the position where we wanted it to, and it stayed there.
My gut feeling is this material's worth quite a bit of money. How much, I don't know. Do you mind me talking about you and your collection to some people? Like
No, no, you have
from
full
auction
license. You have
companies,
full
the
license.
Toronto International Film Festival. My mind's going a million miles a minute. It's very cool.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Billy's head is buzzing, and now the shrunken head he bought in Paris needs attention.
My main concern when I bring a new object in the house like a shrunken head is that it could have insects or bugs or some, eggs on it. Put this in the freezer to kill anything on it, because if I didn't, and say some eggs hatched, I'm jeopardizing my entire collection.
Billy stays home to work, while Jessica gets ready to deliver the head for a nose job.
Little puppy. Yeah. Let's go.
When Billy needs an artifact restored, he calls Mary Peaver. She can repair anything.
This shrunken head is a great shrunken head. It just has a little bit of bug damage on the surface, and she's going to clean it up for me.
It's a lot of fun working with Billy, for sure. He has brought me mummy, shrunken heads, and teeth. Billy's always surprising me, but I don't think I've seen it all yet.
If Mary can restore this head, its value will increase by thousands of dollars.
I brought you the head.
Oh, great.
I plan on selling the shrunken head even though I don't want to. I'm a collector and a dealer. To pay my bills and further my collecting, I do have to sell things. Yeah, you know what to do. Just set it up here. Thanks, Mike.
And right now, Billy wants to sell a Phantom War Shield.
Well, this is a great shield. Phantom shields are difficult to sell to tribal collectors because they're more of a curiosity. I just hope people are going to love them and want them as much as I do.
To test the market, Billy wants to convince art collector David Angelo to buy one.
How are you, man?
Not too bad. How you doing?
Good to see you, man.
Coming here, man. I approached David because he's a major contemporary art collector and friend. I thought you would dig these shields. Come on around. I've always felt these shields would be more attractive to contemporary art collectors as opposed to tribal art collectors. Check out all the shields.
Got enough? Billy's been collecting war shields for years.
Yeah, these are from the Dayak tribe in Borneo. This is all hair from heads taken in battle.
Scare the shit out of me.
But David's never bought one. Billy hopes that's about to change.
This is really nice.
Well, I know you you love contemporary art, but I just wanted you to show these because it's kind of like it's.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you these.
Yeah. I know you.
Yeah.
I didn't bring you over here. I just thought you'd want to see these. I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Well, I knew you like pop art, right?
So what do they go for?
You can have it for $7,000. I mean, that's fair.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Based on what?
Because you're my friend.
Oh, okay.
I just like to see one in your collection.
So would I.
When you're approaching a negotiation for anything, I think you have to have a price in mind.
I don't know about where the market is on this.
David is losing interest. Billy may have overpriced the shield and lost the deal. Treasure trader Billy Jamieson wants to sell a rare New Guinea war shield.
You can have it for $7,000.
But the deal's hit a snag over price.
You have to talk it over with the wife?
How am I going to sneak it into the house? I like it a lot.
Cool.
But let me think about it, okay?
Okay, man.
Billy can't close the deal. He may have priced the shield too high.
I have to admit, I was a little shocked when he didn't take the deal right away. Come on in here.
With the shield deal on hold, Billy's asked Russ McMillan, an expert in movie memorabilia, to help him put a value on Gordon Smith's collection.
I'm no expert at movie effects. I want to find out what it's worth to see if I actually am interested in buying it. I'm also considering keeping a few pieces and possibly donating it to the Toronto International Film Festival.
This is all from the original movies?
Yeah, everything. So here we have some gloves worn by Hugh Jackman with the plastic blades. What do you think of something like that?
Well, I heard recently that a set of gloves like that went for in the neighborhood of $40,000. You know, if you have a pair in good condition.
Wow. I got to admit, I was shocked, but I guess the Wolverine wore them, and that's what people want.
Movie memorabilia is valuable because it's original, one-of-a-kind works of art, and Gordon Smith has a warehouse full of them.
This is Mystique from the movie. And this is made up of latex compositions.
It wasn't too long ago, one of the suits from Stargate was an original costume. It was $60,000.
This is X-Men.
And this is X-Men, which is 10 times better than Stargate.
This would make a hell of a museum exhibitor in it.
I've never seen a collection like this before. No, I've appraised a lot of costumes and prosthetics, but this one is complete and such good condition. It's amazing.
Are we talking, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands?
Easily hundreds of thousands. Yeah. No, because it's so complete and there's so many pieces.
Oh, I am totally blown away by the value of this collection. This is amazing. I am going to make Gordon an offer.
But that deal will have to wait.
Hi. Come on in. How are you doing?
Mary Peaver has finished the repair on Billy's shrunken head.
Nice to see you.
The shrunken head that I recently purchased in Paris had some insect damage. Thanks for doing this so quick. Wow.
Oh, well, it was fun. So here's your fella.
Oh, it looks a lot better.
Are there many holes to fill it?
There were about 10 or 12, plus the nose was quite significantly split.
Was it all insect damage?
Yes, it was exit holes from termites.
Okay, gotcha.
And it was fresh, but you did the very right thing by putting it in the freezer as soon as you got it home.
I always stick shrunken heads in the freezer for about a week.
It's a very good idea.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
his original eyebrows are still there.
That
No,
looks
that's
great.
great.
That's a lot better.
It's-
Thanks,
it's
thanks
a
very
lot
much.
better.
I come up with the pretty strange stuff for you to do, don't I? It's a great piece. Now we've fixed that little bit of bug damage. He looks perfect.
And there's more good news. Art collector David Angelo has decided to buy a phantom shield, and Billy can't wait to deliver it.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
No, I was gonna, yes.
I'm one of these guys, you know
I know.
Well, okay, what do we have?
Come on in. I knew you couldn't not do it. I saw.
I loved it too much. I loved it too much.
It was great to see David so excited for the shield. He even already had a special spot on the wall for it. Yep. They got this one. How you doing over there?
Have a look.
It's great for me to see a tribal art piece I sold David hanging among his great contemporary collection. That looks
Oh,
great.
I like it. It works really well with these paintings, doesn't it?
Yeah. It looks great here. Actually, I'm getting seller's regret. But the truth is, I can't afford to keep everything.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe one day.
I can't
but
afford to buy everything.
I know, but thank God to people like you because you helped me further my collecting. Congratulations on
Thank
your
you,
new
Bill.
purchase. Hey, man, it's my pleasure, okay?
Finally, Billy's ready to meet Gordon Smith and make an offer for his movie collection.
The best outcome from this is Gordon accepts my offer. I'm going to keep a few pieces, Mystique, maybe claw gloves from Wolverine for Jessica. You know why I brought you out for dinner, because I'm interested in your collection.
It wasn't the free meal?
You get the free meal. Oh.
Excellent.
Okay. The worst case outcome is Gordon turns down my offer, packs his life's work in a truck, and sends it to an auction company down in California. What I was going to suggest is, if I get 3 blue ladies and your entire collection, I'm willing to give you $250,000.
Billy Jamieson wants to buy Gordon Smith's movie memorabilia collection, but he's not sure if Gordon will accept his offer.
I'm making Gordon a fair offer, but you know what? I'm dealing with the guy's life's work. I hope that he's not offended. If I get 3 blue ladies and your entire collection, I'm willing to give you $250,000. That was pretty fast. I was really surprised how quickly he accepted my offer, which in my world usually means I paid too much. So you want to hear my explanation? Good. I believe that Gordon accepted my offer mainly because I intend to give most of his collection to the people at the Toronto International Film Festival. And I think their intention is to catalog it and possibly do an exhibit, because I think they were shocked to think that someone worked on all these Hollywood pictures was Canadian. So you are culturally important to our country.
That's right.
Because you're Canadian. Didn't know that when you were doing all this, did you?
No, I didn't know that. No.
His legacy gets kept on, and he makes a bit of cash.
Cool.
Handshake
All right.
again. We got a deal. That's it. But I am keeping a few pieces for Jessica. It's a win-win for everybody.
Billy has managed to preserve a priceless piece of movie history and score a cool present for Jessica.
Oh, you brought it home, huh?
Yeah.
Look at this.
Take a look. Just don't stab me with it.
I promise nothing. These are amazing. Thank you so much, honey.
Billy and his fiancée Jessica are on their way to Nuremberg, Germany.
I love history. I love going out and exploring and finding new things. I'm just like a little kid. I want to learn.
This trip began with a phone call about a bizarre collection of medieval relics.
Bill Jamieson, can I help you? I get a call from a woman named Toonie in Rhode Island that's actually trying to sell a collection of 15th and 16th century torture devices.
The collection includes hundreds of medieval torture tools used to extract a confession from thousands of poor souls. It could be worth over $1 million.
I've been talking with Toonie 3 or 4 times a week, sometimes for 2-3 hours at a time.
Look at Billy. It's worth a tremendous amount of money.
She's been making me a little bit crazy on the phone. There's a reason you haven't sold it. And I hate to say it, I think it's the price.
I have to say, it took a lot of time and resources to put it together.
Yeah. I think she thinks it's worth around $1 million. It sounds like she'll take somewhat less, but I need to do some homework.
The collection itself is stored in a warehouse in the United States, but Billy's come to Germany to see where the tools were made. He wants to buy them, and if he does, it could be a dream come true.
I really would like to open a really great museum one day. We have an interest in the dark and macabre, and it doesn't get much more macabre than 16th century torture equipment.
Nuremberg's infamous medieval castles and dungeons are some of the darkest places on Earth.
The town hall itself was built between 1332 and 1340.
As much as I am a collector, it's fun to go to some of these places and understand where they came from. Yeah, we're very excited to see this.
This dungeon was built over 600 years ago for prisoners waiting for a trial or an execution.
I will lead you to the torture chamber.
Here we go.
The torture chamber was where prisoners confessed, guilty or not.
Torture could be inflicted by many means. So these are thumb screws, which you just put your thumb inside, screw the bar down, and after a while, bones begin to break and you confess any crime, even one you've never committed.
It really kind of gives me an idea. Just say you opened a torture museum. What do you make the museum look like? This is what dungeons from the medieval period look like. And history is dark.
You can see here.
I know that in the collection there's 20 or 30 or 40 crushing implements.
They're heavy.
Feeling better about this collection now that I've come and seen this place than I did before I got here. Once again, we got the price issue, which is another whole deal.
Toonie Malici, the American in Rhode Island who owns the Nuremberg collection, wants 7 figures.
It had been at an auction company in New York, and they were looking for $1 million+. And I want to come away with the torture collection, but I do not want to overpay for it.
It's time to call Toonie and set up a meeting.
Toonie, it's Billy. How you doing?
Hi, Billy. What's up?
Well, I'm in Nuremberg. You've definitely got my interest.
Billy wants to move fast. Toonie could find another buyer, and that means a bidding war.
Maybe I should just come down and see it and we should talk.
Sounds good. Can't wait to see you.
Okay, bye-bye.
He's heard and seen enough. It's time to head home. And he's not in the door 5 minutes when he gets a lead about another new relic.
British armor.
This time, it's a suit of 17th century armor that belongs to a collector Billy's never heard of, Bob LePan of Detroit, Michigan.
And he's decided to sell it. I've never been offered a suit of armor before.
And that's because most of them are locked up in museums, making them rare collectibles. If this one's the real deal, it's a one-of-a-kind find.
If this suit of armor is authentic, it could be worth in tens of thousands of dollars, for sure. We're gonna find out.
It's time for a road trip. Billy and Jessica are off to Rhode Island to try and buy the torture tool collection. But on the way, they're stopping in Detroit to check out Bob LePan's suit of armor.
Bob!
Yeah.
Bill Jamieson.
Bill, glad to meet you.
My fiancée, Jessica Phillips.
Wow. Come on and I'll show you the armor.
Cool.
This is my pride and joy here.
This is so cool.
You know.
Wow, eh?
Yeah, it can
nasty.
Be, yeah.
Billy was excited about this armor until he saw it. Now he's suspicious. It may not be a complete suit.
This suit is all one. The helmet is from another suit.
Which changes its value, as you can imagine.
Right.
If it was a complete set, it'd be worth a lot of money. How did you end up with this? You found this in England?
Yes, I was in London, which was for the International Motorcycle Show.
You were over there with a motorcycle, or you?
Yeah, the Gyronaut, you know, the absolute world land speed record holder.
Did someone say world record breaking motorcycle?
Is that it? Is that the picture?
Yeah, that's Gyronaut. And at that time, I was the fastest motorcycle rider in the world.
I had no idea that I was walking into this. I'm a motorcycle enthusiast. I've owned a lot of vintage bikes in my day, but this is so cool. What's the fastest you've gone on that?
October 21st, 1970, just a tick under 305 miles an hour.
Wow, eh? Whatever happened to this amazing machine?
I still have it. It's out in my heated garage.
So much for a suit of armor. Billy may have just found a treasure a lot more valuable.
Come on, and I'll show you the armor.
Billy and Jessica are in Detroit to check out a rare suit of armor and found out that it's a dud.
The helmet is from another suit.
Which changes its value, as you can imagine.
But they may have discovered an even bigger treasure.
Oh my God.
Enter my world.
I've never seen inside one of these.
Yeah, probably for most people more interesting to see it with the skin off.
Yeah.
In 1966, on Utah's Bonneville Salt Flats, Bob LePan set a land speed record on 2 wheels of 395.362 kilometers an hour. His one-of-a-kind bike could be worth its weight in gold.
This is how you get in, and then this is the actual riding position, like this, okay? This is exactly how you sit in a modern Formula One car, except I steer with the handlebars under my legs.
Bob, this is the engine over here, eh?
Well, actually 2 engines.
Were these the engines in there in 1966 for the record?
These are the same engines that went 8,300 revs in top gear.
I like artifacts or pieces, that touch history. Bob, on this, can you tell me what's original and what's not?
Everything you're looking at here is absolutely original. Even the fork that failed, where it fractured.
So you had a crash. Was the crash at
over 300?
In 1970, Bob tried to break his own speed record. But this time, he lost control.
In other words, I get a gust of wind from my right, and I'm on my side almost instantly. And of course, I ground off 9.5 inches of the main artery in the entire bicep. The doctor said no one ever had an arm like this that actually kept it.
If something has a good story, I'm going to go after it. I know that you're considering selling this, right?
Yes.
Would your intention be to put the engine in, put the body back, and paint it up with all the decals of all the sponsors?
Oh yeah, we could do that. I still have them. There isn't another motorcycle in the world that's like this. It's totally 100% unique.
It's beautiful.
I live for the rush of chasing down pieces like this. It's really a buzz. Bob, this has been really great. Yeah. I think I got to go away and just do a little bit of research and perhaps maybe give you a call back, and if it's okay.
Sounds good to me.
And I hope we meet again.
It's been a pleasure.
Billy has to leave a deal for Bob's rocket bike to another day. He's got a date with a torture tool collection in Rhode Island.
It's hard to believe that we're going to see the stuff that's came out of the Nuremberg dungeons.
Billy's invested a lot of time and money to confirm the quality of the collection. Now, he's determined to buy it.
So now you're going to meet Toonie.
Finally. Gorgeous place.
Hey,
Toonie! Come on in. To the dungeon we go.
Most of the collection is stored in a warehouse, but Toonie keeps the biggest, most valuable pieces right here in her basement.
What's here for the collection is the shackles, the rack, the ladder. So you were hung from there and then rolled over on these, and usually you were disemboweled or branded, flayed, all kinds of wonderful things.
You know a lot about this, eh?
Unfortunately, yes.
Toonie inherited all the stuff from a close friend of her family named Arnie Coward.
Arnie Coward was a Norwegian freedom fighter who was tortured by the Nazis during World War II. After the war, he became fascinated with torture tools and collected over 300 pieces of the bloody Nuremberg collection.
Arnie ran a museum of the macabre in Hawaii, and the material from Nuremberg was the center of his collection.
I was born into this collection because my mother was partners in business with Arnie since I was born.
And when Arnie died, he left the collection to Toonie and her mother.
I mean, and this thing weighs probably 700 pounds.
I mean, it's solid.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That's wild.
And as you can see, there's a shackle for every size.
You're gonna want to wear this as jewelry.
I
You can pull
totally-
it off too.
Torture couture. I'm just so used to having it around. There's nothing really out there like it. I think it's worth a tremendous amount of money.
Billy still needs to see the rest of the collection, but he's ready to make Toonie an offer. And worried that she might turn him down.
So we're gonna have to meet her tomorrow morning to go look at the storage area with all the rest of the collection.
Yeah.
She did tell me she had another interested party
Oh, really?
that offered her money, but I never know if it's true, and she's been asking for $1 million for this collection for so long. I think I can maybe make a deal with her tomorrow. I don't want to lose this collection.
Billy knows that cutting a deal with Toonie won't be easy.
When you're buying something from somebody and they've owned it a long time, they become so attached to it that the whole process of letting it go becomes part of the deal.
To make sure that she does, Billy's got a trick up his sleeve. He calls Mike, his assistant in Toronto.
How you doing, Mike? I really want you to come down here with the truck, okay?
He's hoping that the arrival of a 10-ton moving truck will show Toonie that he won't take no for an answer.
No. Okay, man. I look forward to seeing you, okay? Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.
And now, it's time to make the deal. The next morning, Billy and Jessica meet Toonie at the warehouse to check out the rest of the collection.
Wow.
This was a stock. So your fingers would be stuck in there and this would be around your neck. What does it look like I'm doing?
Flute.
If you're a bad musician.
Look at this.
That's absolutely incredible. This was basically a nobleman's shame mask.
I love this piece. The thing I find interesting is I guess as a nobleman, it's got kind of a little metal mustache and goatee.
But look at the artistry again.
So you'd be sentenced to some kind of crime, and they could hear you coming. Hard to believe this stuff has lasted over 500 years. It's dated 1530. I'd like to really look at the ideas and possibilities of opening a museum of the macabre, but a very elegant, classy kind of museum. So what do you think, honey?
There's a lot of good pieces there.
I think it's enough of a collection to do something with. So I'm gonna go talk to her and see what I can do.
Okay, go.
Okay, honey?
Good.
Toonie's been told ridiculous prices of value by people that really did not know anything about the material.
I turned them down because I didn't think that they were enough.
I came down here to really try and buy it. I actually even went as far as to have a truck come down from Toronto and to pick up the material.
And haul my goodies away?
I just, you know what, I'm here. I don't want to have to come back to do this. I just do it now. She maybe is so attached to it and has had it since she, and grew up with it as a kid that she doesn't want to sell it.
Billy Jamieson's in Rhode Island, trying to buy a rare collection of medieval torture tools.
I actually even went as far as to have a truck come down from Toronto.
And haul my goodies away?
But the owner's close personal connection could kill the deal.
You know what, I'm here. I don't want to have to come back to do this. I just do it now. But I'm willing to pay her $225,000 for the collection. Say I go $225,000, okay? We take the collection away. I'd like to do something with it that creates money down the road, maybe a traveling exhibit or museum. I would give you a contract signed that would give you $17,500 US a year should we exhibit it and start making money. So you could get another $175,000.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely makes it more palatable. I think we can do this.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
When I make a deal, I like to move fast.
And before they can even shake hands, Mike shows up with the moving truck.
Got a call from Billy telling me he wanted me to come down like pronto. It was like 17 hours, since I picked up the truck to get down here. Typical day for Billy, yes.
This deal is done. Now it's time to load up Billy's newest treasure.
2 people go down, 2 people keep packing, and then they switch. Cool?
Yeah.
Yay! And break.
Next, we're like, oh,
Did we get this one?
Yep.
I got all three?
Yep, Dungeon Queen.
Be careful, there's iron
You're gonna
spikes
be-
on
you
the
gotta
end. You know, it's weird to think that torture instruments leaving would make you cry. But, you know, I had it since I was a little girl.
I think it's important that when you do a deal, both parties are happy.
Ready to go.
Hey,
Got it done.
I'm glad
You
we
pulled
did
it
this.
off. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens to it in the future. Bye, dear.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
One deal down, one to go. Billy and Jessica make the long drive back to Detroit to try and buy Bob Lepin's motorcycle. Billy has no idea what to offer Bob, so Jessica goes online to hunt down the value of vintage motorcycles. Then she calls an auction house.
Bikes with a lot less history than Bob's were selling for well over $50,000.
Billy's already on his way to meet Bob when Jessica gives him a call.
40 grand. Is Bob around?
She's
Hey, Bob.
Hey, here I am.
Hey, Bob. Great to see you again.
How you doing?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
And here we are, the Gyronaut. You try and be fair at these things, and sometimes sellers and sometimes buyers don't know the value of the pieces, like a speed record motorcycle. I've been calling all the auction companies and experts in the field, pricing what the value of this is. People keep throwing this price, I'm just throwing this out there, of $75,000 to $100,000. And the guy selling it wants to make sure you don't underpay for it. And I'm not just in this for money. I'm in this because this is a cool story, and this is fun. You make an offer and you hope. I would like to offer you $100,000. I'd like to put it in R&M Auctions, the biggest motorcycle auction company in the world. I'd like to set this up to be the centerpiece of their auctions. Everything it sells for over $100,000, split with you. So in other words, you're going to be guaranteed $100,000 from me. Then when it goes to auction in Vegas, anything it sells for over that, we split. Right. The only thing you'd have to do is restore it to what it was in 1966.
Right.
I believe I'm making him a fair offer, but who knows what his expectations are.
Billy Jamieson is trying to make a deal for racing legend Bob Lepin's one-of-a-kind motorcycle.
I would like to offer you $100,000. Then when it goes to auction in Vegas, anything it sells for over that, we split. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I've been married to the same woman for 41 years, so obviously I have...
You gotta talk to your wife. I understand totally.
Yeah.
It's such a cool story, and it's such a historical work of art.
Right.
And that, you know, almost took your life, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You must be so attached to this, but why don't you talk to her, and do you want to get back to me in a few days or something?
Yeah, that would be great. And thanks for the offer.
Billy can't close the deal, and he has to leave Detroit empty-handed. But this road trip wasn't a failure.
Mike got over the border with the torture collection we just bought, and it's arrived. We're bringing the collection down into the lower gallery. It's really the only place that it fits at the moment. So we're kind of spreading it out, organizing, categorizing, figuring out what we've got here. It's really exciting.
So they get your head in there, and then you couldn't get out. Holy fuck. Now that I have it spread out through my basement, I feel much more comfortable with what I paid for it.
Win some, lose some. That's treasure hunting. Billy lost out on the rare motorcycle, but scored big with the Nuremberg torture tools.
I've found a lot of treasures in my life, and I'm hoping to find a lot more. But I remember the ones that got away more than I do the ones I got.
Billy and his fiancée Jessica are up early.
Hey, Billy, your protein shake's ready.
And preparing for a party.
How you doing?
Good.
So, party time. So you all excited?
I am excited.
It's gonna be stressful.
But it's gonna be fun.
Billy's a world-famous treasure hunter, but he's almost as well known for his annual costume party.
We get to see everyone that we do business with. Every year, it just gets bigger and bigger.
The party's still a week away, but Billy's house is packed with valuable artifacts, making party-proofing a big job.
It's like child-proofing for adults, because you gotta remember they're in costumes and they turn around and something's knocked out and smashed. This is my favorite shrunken head in my collection. So I'm gonna move it way back here out of the way. This one this is an Ojibwe war club. All these lines represent battles. This means this was used to kill somebody. I paid somewhere over $30,000 for it. And the value of this is well over 100, and that's why it's got to be put away.
And while Jessica stows the valuables, Billy gets back to work, hunting for new treasures.
The Indiana Jones of today is on the internet and the phone all day. I'm looking for artifacts that are great, that are beautiful. I also love oddities and curiosities from around the world. Just strange, strange things with great historical stories.
But this time, something freaky's caught his eye.
Wow, that's amazing.
A shrunken human body.
That's pretty cool.
That he made a $10,000 offer on yesterday has just been accepted.
Oh my God.
Shrunken human bodies were a common sideshow attraction in the 1900s, but they were all fake and made of paper or animal skin. Real shrunken bodies are rare, and only a handful are known to exist. Billy's convinced he's bought the genuine article.
I mean, it looks real to me.
But until it's in his hands, it can't be confirmed.
Sometimes you act too quickly, and the next thing you know, what you've got is a reproduction or a fake or a tourist piece. I mean, I have a number of these.
And they're all tucked away in his cabinet of mistakes to remind him of the cutthroat world of collecting.
These are shelves filled with mistakes, and it's supposed to be a medieval chastity belt, but when you see this pictured in a catalog, it looked old, and when I got it, this is a reproduction. This is a copy of a Fijian priest kava dish. They would put kava in this and drink it, and it would let them go into kind of a state, and this would have been worth probably about $250,000 to $300,000 if it was real.
Is Billy's shrunken human body the next addition to his cabinet?
I've made mistakes before and I've been burned, but I'm willing to take the gamble.
Billy can't wait to find out. For now, party planning's on hold. He and Jessica are in New York to pick up the shrunken body. Its former owner has left it at Billy's hotel.
How are you?
Hi, good afternoon.
I've got a box here, I think, under Bill Jamieson.
Like a kid at Christmas, Billy wants to open it right away.
I like his haircut.
I think I know that guy.
Kind of wild, eh? The strange things that come into your hotel, right?
Are we expecting more packages?
But you may have some more. Now that I've seen it, I believe it's 100% real.
It may be real, but Billy hasn't a clue where the body came from or who it is. He needs an expert opinion.
Henry!
So he asks his friend and respected natural historian, Henry Galliano.
I would classify Bill as one of my most unusual friends. The very things that he's attracted to is what he is. You are what you collect.
And Billy's counting on Henry to shed some light on this unusual item.
This is definitely one of the most interesting things I've ever come across.
And I'm just going to speak freely. A lot of these things are like done for tourists, especially in Central America. You know what? You can get a monkey and do this with it. There's nothing about this except for the ear. The ear is the only thing that looks authentic. But the nostril doesn't look human. You can get rawhide and sculpt it, and you could create similar. I would say this is not real at all.
I'm very disappointed.
If Henry's right, Billy's just blown 10 grand on a new addition to his cabinet of mistakes. Billy Jamieson's rare shrunken human body has just been called a fake.
I think I know that guy.
I would say this is not real at all.
Really? I'm very disappointed.
But he's still not convinced that it's a hoax.
I think now what I have to do is find someone else that's an expert to do further research on it.
And those experts are Robert Carnero and Layla Williamson, former curators at the Museum of Natural History in New York.
I've got something really interesting here to show you.
Well, I've never seen anything like this. It's definitely very unusual.
And here's the $10,000 question.
First off, do you believe this is human? What's your feeling?
Well, the eyebrows look good. The ears look pretty good, too. I think this would suggest that it is really human.
Billy's relieved, but the plot thickens.
Was this done by the tribe? Did they shrink bodies ever?
No, there's no record at all of them having shrunk an entire body.
Only the Shuar Indians of Ecuador shrank human heads. But tourism created a morbid market for forgeries, and people with the know-how, like morticians or doctors, shrank heads and bodies.
Does it kind of have a look like a medical doctor would seal up?
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. Look at the sutures in the back. This is a stitch that surgeons use in stitching up an incision. But someone who did this wasn't the first time they'd done it.
If he's right, this body may have been created by a doctor for the tourist trade. Billy's now heard two opposing opinions. So is it human or not? He's determined to solve the mystery.
We're on our way to Maxim DNA Labs in Guelph, Ontario, where I'm going to have a sample taken from this shrunken body I have, and first thing we want to do is see if it's human or not.
Maxim is Canada's largest forensic DNA testing lab, and Martin Westacott is the chief investigator.
Hi. Bill Jamieson, how are you?
Come on in.
Hey, thanks for seeing me. So, I've got something very interesting to show you. It's an adult woman shrunk to about 12 inches.
Well, we certainly don't get samples like this every day.
How do you take DNA from a specimen like this to determine that it's human?
We'll take a small sample from her arm area, and we'll also take a small sample from the back of her head, and we'll take both those samples through the DNA process.
So once you take a millimeter of the skin, 100% you can tell me if it's human or not.
Correct.
DNA samples are carefully shaved from the body's dried out skin. The actual tests will take time, but Martin is already worried about the results.
Because of the age of the item, and potentially also what has happened to the item, that can affect our ability to detect the human DNA. It can potentially cause us to not get a result.
Billy heads home to Toronto, where he sends an email to a global network of dealers asking for any information about shrunken bodies. Then it's back to work, prepping for the party, now just 2 days away.
This place holds about 250, 300 people comfortably, but we have a guest list between 500 and 600, and I can't say no to anybody. Why? Because I'm nuts? You want to take them down in the coffin, Bob?
Yeah, and there's no room for error.
We got to move the mummy downstairs and put him in a glass case so no one can spill wine on him. Where do you think I should put this one rather than leave it in here? I always worry, and thank God Jessica's here to keep me calm and help me through this.
I honestly think that might be the safest place.
Sorry, Grant.
Suddenly, Billy gets a call.
Bill Jamieson, can I help you?
It's the DNA lab in Guelph calling, sooner than expected.
Hi, Billy. It's Martin Westacott from Maxim.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And Martin has good news about Billy's shrunken body.
We were pleasantly surprised. We were able to determine that it's definitely human.
Billy's thrilled.
It's still business as usual. Boy, am I excited. You can't make this stuff up.
His shrunken body is the real deal.
The greatest thing about collecting this is you're collecting history. And it's a lot of history that nobody knows.
And that includes who shrunk the body. The mystery continues. Treasure trader Billy Jamieson is trying to solve a mystery. He spent thousands on a shrunken body he wasn't sure was human.
I would say this is not real at all.
And then had a DNA lab confirm it.
Definitely human.
But the real mystery is who shrunk it. For now, his hunt for answers is on hold. He and Jessica have come to Chicago for an art auction, which promises to be full of surprises.
You're off to Potter Auctions. It's a magic auction, and we're going to see Gabe, who's one of the owners, and an expert on 19th and 20th century magicians.
The jewels of this auction are vintage posters that promoted magician shows and their notoriety. One poster in particular has caught Billy's eye.
What's this poster here?
Well, it's a little bit deceptive in a way. Chung Ling Soo was not Chinese. His name was William Robinson. He was Scottish, had a big handlebar mustache. He was from Brooklyn, New York.
Robinson shaved his head and mustache and became a famous magician of the early 20th century, until a trick misfired. He took a bullet in the chest and died, right on stage.
So he sadly died doing what he liked doing the best.
Yeah, but nobody had checked the gun, and...
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's an interesting story.
We are ready to proceed, and we will open lot number 1 at $50. Any bids?
I have 175.
I have 175 on the internet. I have 200 on the floor.
But as the auction begins, Billy's more interested in eyeballing the competition.
I'm looking around the room, seeing who the bidders are.
$750 for 800.
Seeing who's bidding on the phones, wondering who the buyers are.
900.
900. 950.
950.
950. I believe it's yours. Sold. Sold on the floor for $250. Sold.
Finally, the Chung Ling Soo poster is up for bid.
And we're going to start that lot at $2,000. $3,600.
The competition is intense, and Billy and Jessica have to keep pace.
You get nervous, you get excited, you get a knot in your stomach. The problem is you're on a ride.
Yes.
5. I have 225 to 50.
If I want something, I usually get it.
650. I have 650 now. 7,000. Any other bids? I'm looking for 7,500. I have 7,000. Fair warning at 7. Sold. $7,000.
I wanted to buy it because of the story, and I collect stories. I love objects with stories.
It would make my life easier if you took 2 cases like this.
As they pack up to leave Chicago, Billy checks messages. One is a big surprise.
Yeah.
Hi, Billy. This is Michael Salim from the Adventurers Club of Chicago. Hey, I read the email about your shrunken body.
Billy drops everything and heads for the club.
Hello. Hello there. Hey, Bill Jamieson.
Mike Salim, how are you?
Mike.
Welcome to the Adventurers Club.
Wow, this is amazing.
Set your stuff down over here and we'll take a walk.
Oh, for sure.
Mike Salim, the club's treasurer, shares Billy's passion for rare relics.
But you know what that is up there, right?
A whale penis?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Don't ask me how I know. I just do.
The 100-year-old Adventurers Club has counted Teddy Roosevelt among its members, and its rooms and display cases are packed with history. But Mike's called Billy about one display in particular.
Our private collection of shrunken heads.
Wow. My God, quite a collection here, right?
And they were donated by one of our members here, Dr. Strobe.
Shrunken heads donated by a Dr. Struve.
And a shrunken body.
And a shrunken whole body there.
Now this tweaks Billy's curiosity.
Does it kind of have a look like a medical doctor would seal up?
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. Look at the sutures in the back.
Would you like to see them?
I'd love to.
Billy's intrigued. The hunt to find who made his shrunken body is getting hotter. Another club member arrives with some answers.
Hey, Dave. Dave, do you want to meet Bill?
David.
Dave Brown.
It's a real pleasure to meet you.
David Brown is the great-nephew of Dr. Gustav Struve. He spent years researching his life. Born in Ecuador, Struve practiced medicine in Quito, the capital, but he also traveled into the jungle to treat Indians, including the Shuar, the only tribal culture known to shrink human heads.
His family says that he actually went into the jungles and that he had contact with the headhunting tribes, and that there he learned how to shrink heads and bodies.
Wow, it blew me away. I was shocked.
But did Dr. Struve actually do the shrinking?
Is there any evidence at all that Gustav shrunk heads or bodies?
There is. I found a letter that he wrote to his fiancée in 1939, and he was telling her that he had been to a museum that day.
Yesterday, Sunday, I spent almost all day at the museum. There were mummies from Peru, one of the small heads of a woman. It had been done by me several years ago. Wow, so he's admitting that he actually shrunk a head. Gustav admits shrinking heads in his letter. I wonder if he shrunk bodies.
It's a $10,000 question to Billy's bizarre mystery.
It's kind of like where there's smoke, there's fire.
Hello.
Billy Jamieson is in Chicago to try and solve the mystery of who made his shrunken human body.
Is there any evidence at all that Gustav shrunk heads or bodies?
There is.
And so far, Dr. Gustav Struve is the prime suspect.
Do you think he made these bodies himself?
Yeah, I can see where someone that had the skills to shrink a head would be tempted to shrink an entire body.
In fact, Dr. Struve once owned all of the world's known shrunken bodies. He sold two in 1926, donated another to Chicago's Adventurers Club, and the last has disappeared.
And this is the only photograph that I'm aware of that shows all four of the bodies together.
So, what about Billy's body? Its age, the medical sutures, the diary, it all points to Dr. Struve.
It's actually kind of looking like it could have possibly been him that might have prepared some of these shrunken bodies.
Yeah.
Is that what you feel?
I wouldn't think there'd be that many that had the skill or the desire.
But without a certificate of authenticity, Billy can't be sure. He does know that the shrunken body doesn't belong in his cabinet of mistakes.
It was an interesting adventure. I mean, I've got a complete shrunken body. It's one of only 3 or 4 that exist in the world. I just think it's pretty cool to have. I don't plan on selling it.
It's time for Billy to head home. He can't be late for his own costume party.
We know each other quite intimately.
Oh my God! We got a question. We want to know about that. I invited everybody that is in my business in the world that I know have any kind of association with, got an invitation to this. They're not people that would normally dress up, but they dress up to come to this event.
And in the midst of this madness, Billy still can't refuse to lend a hand to a fellow collector.
It's in a jar. I brought some gloves.
Can you believe this? In the middle of a party, a friend of mine comes in to show me an Egyptian mummy hand in a jar. Now that's pretty fucking cool. That's wild, eh? It's definitely a mummy's hand. You can see the wrapping and everything.
Joy and sex and lust.
Looks like a little head.
Big or small, mysteries are treasure trader Billy Jamieson's true passion.
There's a million stories, and hunting for treasures is what I enjoy doing.